Hi, my name is Sarah. Welcome to the Relationship Reset Method. If you're a successful man in your career, but there's no real intimacy in your marriage, no emotional closeness, and it feels like you're living with a roommate instead of a wife, and maybe you haven't been touched in months or even years, and conversations are really staying surface level. You avoid topics because it causes tension or silence or shutdown. So you tell yourself, things are fine, but deep down inside, you feel alone in your marriage. You feel isolated, and it's really affecting your self esteem. And that's a heavy place to be for a man who works hard, provide, is loyal, and is doing everything he knows how to do to fight for his family and his wife. So, most high performing men aren't failing in their marriage because they don't care. They're failing because no one has ever showed them how to have emotional connection that really works with women. The skills that built your career don't necessarily rebuild the skills at home. So you try harder, you work more, you stay patient, you stay quiet, but deep down inside, nothing changes. There's no connection with your wife. And it's not because you're weak, it's because you were never given the right tools to have a healthy, functioning, thriving relationship. So over time, you start realizing there's only two paths. One is divorce, or the other is spending 30 to 50 years in a marriage that's loveless, no passion, no connection, no intimacy, no real partnership, just routines, responsibilities, and quiet growing resentment. It's a lose-lose choice either way. Divorce costs lots of money, and so does that resentment. And most men don't want either. They just want their marriage back and their wife back. So it's gonna take work. It's a challenge, but I've helped men like Josh turn things around for his marriage, on the edge of losing his relationship, now leading with confidence and with connection.
Hey, my name is Joshua, and I just wanted to shout out Coach Sarah, my relationship coach, and I have never found a coach as good as Sarah. I mean, I've tried therapy, I've tried couples counseling, tried books, just about anything you can name it, but I've never really been able to progress as much as when working with Coach Sarah. I think the best part about it is she really listens. I've never had such a judgment-free zone, and it's almost like a cheat code because she's like my inside man. She's able to walk me through what women are really thinking and feeling. Okay, so in my relationship, she's able to walk me through what my partner is thinking and feeling in a way that I wouldn't have understood before. And she does so with so much empathy. And she more than just listens to me. I've never had someone help me become a better communicator and leader. She really focuses on bringing the man out in me so that I can be a better partner. And I just have never thrived so much as when listening and taking heed to what Sarah is coaching. So I really appreciate what Coach Sarah does. She's one of the best at what she does, the best I've ever found. And I highly recommend working with her. You're going to walk out a better leader, a better man, and hopefully with a stronger relationship. But the biggest thing is she helps you become the best version of you. So thank you, Coach Sarah, for everything you do. You're incredible. You're the best.
Men like Nicola, who went from constant tension to peace, attraction, and partnership returning.
Working with Sarah was super beneficial for my marriage. We are connected again and we travel again. Our intimacy is back. So I highly recommend Sarah's program. She helped me gain my marriage back. So thank you, Sarah, so much.
And a lot of other men like Alex, Adam, Najib, Troy, and many, many more. It's not because their wives changed first. It's because they took a chance on themselves and they learned how to lead themselves and their marriages differently. And I believe that you can take that first step too. How the relationship reset method works. There are basically four steps or pillars that save marriages before they break. If your relationship feels distant, if conversations turn into arguments, if you feel like roommates instead of partners, you aren't alone. And more importantly, you are not broken. In fact, many of the clients that come to me beforehand experience these same feelings. Most couples are trying to fix communication while their nervous systems are overwhelmed, meaning they're walking on eggshells in fight or flight, and their confidence is truly shaken and trust is already damaged. That's why advice like just communicate better rarely works, because we want to know what behavioral patterns are keeping you stuck. So real relationship repair happens in the right order. And that's exactly what the relationship reset method teaches. It's a proven 4-pillar framework designed to rebuild trust, restore connection, and ultimately create long lasting change without years of therapy. So let me show you how it works. In 90 days, in 3 months, we focus on 4 different steps. The first step is emotional stability. You go from reactive to being regulated, meaning you are reactive in fight or flight, or your nervous system is going in all different types of directions. We want to get you regulated. Before we fix communication, we regulate the nervous system because no relationship heals in chaos. It only heals when it's calm. When people feel anxious, angry, desperate, or overwhelmed, they react instead of respond. And even good conversations turn into conflict. In this pillar, you'll learn how to stop emotional spiraling, control reactions before they escalate, calm anxiety quickly, and respond instead of exploding. When emotional safety returns, connection becomes possible again in any relationship. Step number 2 is communication that rebuilds desire. So you go from arguing to going to attraction. Most couples talk, but they don't feel heard or connected. They defend every word, they blame each other, they over explain, they shut down, they yell, or they walk away. Or lastly, we sometimes chase emotions. So this pillar teaches you how to speak in ways that your partner can actually receive, communicate without triggering defensiveness, express needs with calm confidence, and rebuild emotional safety in every conversation. We want to learn how to create attraction through your language, like when you first met, because it's not just what you say with someone, it's how it lands. Step number 3 is identity and self-respect. So you go from begging and chasing to feeling grounded and confident. When people lose themselves in a relationship, they lose leverage, they lose their confidence, they lose their identity. So they start saying, I'm trying so hard, I'm doing everything. Why don't they choose me? And the truth is, connection grows when self respect returns. In this pillar, you rebuild your confidence, we restore your trust, we set healthy boundaries, and we reclaim personal power because women, at the end of the day, are attracted to leadership. When you return to your center, the relationship dynamic begins to shift because you have calm authority and leadership, and that is what women are attracted to. Pillar number 4 is about building that trust and that connection so we can go back to rebuilding your relationship. So you start off as damaged, and then we want to experience a deeper bond in your relationship. So trust isn't rebuilt with empty promises, it's built with accountability and action and patterns and consistency. So whether you're dealing with emotional distance, resentment, conflict, or betrayal, this pillar shows you how to repair emotional injuries, rebuild safety and vulnerability in a relationship, and establish consistent behaviors that rebuild trust and reconnect deeply, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. This is where couples move from surviving to thriving and having a healthy, loving, secure marriage. So the truth most people don't realize is marriages rarely fail because people don't care. We do care, but they fail because couples try to fix the surface problems first. Communication, intimacy, arguments, while the deeper systems underneath are still unstable. So the relationship reset method restores those systems in the correct order. And when that happens, connection stops feeling forced, starts feeling safe again, and starts feeling natural again. And the relationship begins to feel alive and thrive again. If you're ready, if you want clear structure to rebuild trust and that connection and that emotional safety, not just pieces of advice, this framework is designed for you. Because relationships don't change through hope alone, they take action and accountability. They change when the right patterns are installed and formed. And that's exactly what the relationship reset method helps you do. Before we go any further, I want you to understand who I am and why I do this work. I hold a master's degree in behavioral science. Before that, I worked in occupational therapy and mental health settings. And for years, I studied behavioral patterns, emotional regulation, and the leadership dynamics that determine whether relationships stabilize or slowly fall apart. But the real reason that I do this work is much more personal. Years ago, I went through a divorce myself with my current husband. Like many couples, communication broke down, emotional pressure set in and increased, and neither one of us fully understood how the patterns between us were creating distance. What changed was our outcome, that relationships don't improve by intention alone. They improve when behavior changes, when emotional stability regulates, and when leadership inside the marriage exists again. Through structured behavioral change and rebuilding emotional trust step by step, we started to have a healthy, functioning, more thriving relationship. That experience changed my entire life. And through that, I created the Relationship Reset Program to rebuild trust, communication, and get back to that thriving and healthy marriage that you once felt when you first met. So since then, I've helped hundreds of men rebuild their relationships where once they felt lonely. I've seen what works, but I've also seen what doesn't work in a marriage. And I want you to experience the same breakthroughs that my clients get when they work with me and they do the work and they show up committed and they're ready to take action. So, what happens if you say, well, I don't have the time? I'm busy. I get it. You're busy with business, with family obligations, with work responsibilities. Your marriage is your most important partnership in life, and it doesn't require endless hours to do work. It requires the right strategies and sometimes only an hour to an hour and a half per week. Small effort now prevents massive loss later. So, how it happens if you say this is a lot of money? Successful men and women, they don't spend recklessly. I understand. They invest intentionally. They think about how their investment will affect their marriage. Does it affect my focus, my energy, my peace, my kids, my future? A struggling marriage drains and affects everything and everyone around you. And divorce, that's the most expensive outcome possible. Sharing your kids with another stranger, sharing your kids on the holidays. The expense of a divorce can be up to 10 to even 30K. It's emotionally, financially, and spiritually draining. Also, I hear, what if this doesn't work for me, Sarah? I've tried therapy, I've tried everything. Here's the thing, every major win in your life requires uncertainty. You didn't feel confident at first doing something, but you acted first. Most marriages aren't beyond repair, they just lack leadership. And if you remember doing something for the first time that was scary, like learning how to drive, it got you there. You took the chance on yourself, and you still did it anyways. What if my partner isn't on board? Change doesn't require two people to start. When one partner changes, the entire dynamic can shift. When you show up grounded, calm, and emotionally safe, guess what? She feels it and she responds to that different energy and leadership that you are showing currently, because right now what you're doing alone is not working. Leadership doesn't require permission, it requires action. How about I should just learn how to fix this by myself? Well, you've been doing that and it's not working. Elite athletes have coaches, top CEOs have advisors, because perspective really accelerates the results that you want. Marriage is no different. Getting support isn't weakness, it's wisdom, it's fellowship, it's choosing outcomes over your ego. And let's face it, if it really was working on its own, you wouldn't be looking for help and assistance. Your marriage does not have to be lonely. This is your moment, and we'll talk honestly about things that are happening in your relationship, what's happening that's keeping you stuck, what your goals are, why you feel stuck, and whether this is the right fit for you. So here's the thing, no pressure, because the next 90 days are coming either way. So the only question left for you to think about is, will your marriage stay the same? Or will you finally lead your marriage somewhere better? If you've already taken the first step by booking your first clarity call, when we speak, please make sure you're in a quiet environment, free from distractions, and treat this conversation like a focused strategy session, because the clarity you gain during this call determines the next direction that your relationship takes. I look forward to speaking with you, and have a great day.